it's Christmas, when the snow starts to fall, then you know it's Christmas for the children above all. Then you know it's Christmas, 'cause Santa's on his way. We'll stand under the mistletoe, and then it's Christmas Day. The joyful times we witness forever stays with us. Soon Rudolph hears his whistle and gathers all his friends. When Santa and his missus wraps the final gift, you know it's time for Christmas for each and every.
Right now in a galaxy with a place called Earth. What's this here? Oh, Dark Brandon. That's me, Jack. I'm Dark Brandon. Wait, is this about me? It is. This is friggin' awesome. I'm so cool, you know. Yeah. Hey, Jill there. Guess what? They already made a movie about me. I'm the best Sith Lord ever. Let's go, Brandon. Anywho, they tried to replace me with Darth Coconut Tree. Yeah, that didn't work. She never had the skills I have. See, Medicare. Look at this sweet move here, suckers. Darth Coconut can't even get past 11 a.m. without downing 2 bottles of wine. To prop it properly, to create chaos around the empire, you got to be sober and have good brain jelly. Like me, you know what it is. I wonder what this kid smells like. Kids, you know, they smell. They smell. Who smells? What? Where am I? The Russia thing. Ukraine. Come on, man. You know, Darth Coconut got iced out by this guy, some dude I thought we froze out years ago. Now the lizard people have to deal with him and his Wookiee. I figured I'd start a few wars, shoot some missiles, even start some drone wars in New Jersey. Make a mess for this guy. That's what I do. That's who I am. Me, I'm going to be okay. I got a serious retirement plan. Just get on my spaceship, get away from all you suckers and losers. That's right, I said it. Me, Dark Brandon. I've got so much money. These farts that love me will never believe. We gotta secure, open. The borders, they're closed. Hey, Jill, are the borders open or are we, hold on. Do I get Social Security money too? Yeah, that's nice. How much is a pardon going for? I'll frickin' pardon everybody if they'll pay. 10% for the big Sith.
Okay. Is that recording? Okay, that's recording there. Okay. Oh, Merry Hanukkah. Merry Advent. Okay. Okay, Holy Smoking Pipe Padre coming back at you with kind of my quasi Christmas special. Yeah, okay. Now, I don't know what's going on here. I've been taking a lot of vitamin C, and I think it's burned the inside of my mouth. And this is the first time I smoked a pipe in months, or about a month. And so I thought it'd be kind of appropriate to smoke more of a clay pipe, kind of a Santa pipe. Got my original Santa pipe, kind of Santa pipe here. But that's just too hard to smoke in camera. So I thought I'd go to this little guy here, which is kind of gets the same message across. Okay, so Holy Smoking Pipe Padre here with a Christmas pipe, quasi-Christmas pipe. Got a little red thing there, see? Red hat, red smoking jacket. Mm-hmm. And kind of a Santa pipe. Yeah. Okay. So Merry Christmas a couple days early. I'll be uploading this video. I'm hoping tonight. Yeah, hoping tonight. Yeah. Hope. Hope. Oh, you can see my little sand back there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. Yeah. Okay. Autofocus isn't the greatest. Let me see if I can move this up just a tad more. Okay. There we go. Hey, who's that handsome guy there? Oh. Okay, so let's get the housekeeping details presented and minuted and approved. Okay, so I got a little clay pipe. And I'm smoking in it some North Woods. Now, I know some of you thinking, what? You're not smoking Christmas cookie? Well, it's a little early for Christmas cookie. So maybe if I make another video after this one for the holiday season, Christmas season, maybe, just maybe, I'll do a Christmas cookie as well. Yeah. Okay, so how y'all doing? Hope you're all doing well. So I've been wanting to make a video, but you probably know, being in the old Padres parish here, it's just an awful lot of work getting ready for Christmas, the nativity of our Lord. So I thought what I'd do is try to get a lot of the major things done this weekend. Today is Thursday, and we've got the fourth week of Advent coming up this Sunday, and then after that, we have, of course, Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day. Now, it's going to get complicated, but it's been this way for the last 3 or 4 years now. We seem to get a huge storm on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or both, New Year's Day. That North Woods is pretty good, I gotta say. Not bad. Quite delightful. Got some little hazelnut cream coffee over there in the old snowman coffee mug there. I got this a couple years ago and really love it. Yeah, my snowman coffee cup. Is that going to focus? Focus. There we go. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I did some decorating. Yeah, I'll show you little pictures of the decorating. Now tonight, before I do that, we've got a lot of fog up here. Fog in the valley, and the fog came up here to around 6,000 feet. Kind of rare. Kind of looks a little bit like a Todd Hido liminal spaces photograph, So there you go. All you who are in the know who Todd Hido is, you know who I'm talking about. Liminal spaces. Quite an interesting concept. Yeah. Just like Christmas itself. It's an interesting concept. I want to take this moment to do a shout out to one of my friends out there in YouTube land. And he knows who he is. He sent me, I guess, an early Christmas present. Some wonderful photography lighting equipment, I believe it is. I haven't opened up everything. I was hoping to not maybe, but I will in the new year, maybe after this video. I just wanted to get this video going because I've had a lot of things I wanted to talk about. And I just wanted to just get on here and make my presence known because I think it's been over a month now. Just when you thought it was safe to go back onto YouTube, you're wrong. I'm here. So anyway, I just wanted to take this opportunity to share with you some of my reflections. There have been a lot of interesting things that have been going on in the news. Have you noticed some strange things that have been going on? I don't know what to make of the drone thing. What do you guys think? I tend to believe that back in 1938, 1939, I think it was. Orson Welles. You may some of you may remember that name. May remember Orson Welles. But he kind of became a household word after his spoof of the War of the Worlds, where the aliens were invading, and it was all a big radio thing from, I think, especially in the New York area. I don't know if it went out to the West Coast. I think it went out to, I think it was a nationwide broadcast. Yeah, I guess it was, because I think part of the theatrical thing actually I think it took place in Los Angeles. Oh yeah. But anyway, actually I think it was New York, New Jersey, New Jersey. Sound familiar? And so finally they had to do like a disclaimer after the fact to say this is all a radio show. It's a play. It's not real. But it came on the cusp of when we were starting to, have live radio broadcasts. There was the radio was the thing at the time. It was like the internet it is today, or maybe AI is today. I guess AI has kind of superseded the internet to some extent. But it was this wonderful, radio play, but they made it sound like it was actual news breaking bulletin things that were coming in, and it was just really strange. I mean, it scared the heck out of people. They really thought we were being invaded by a foreign enemy from outer space, from another planet, another galaxy. Who knew? And this was terrifying. So I kind of think that a lot of this is hobbyists, drone and hobbyists. Now, look, I fly a drone. You probably even see it back there, over there sometimes. Maybe right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. And I do aerial photography for the parish. I do take pictures. Maybe I'll throw some of that up there now. And, I just think it's really enhancing, your videos when you can put, say, a nice aerial view of your surroundings, setting the scene. That's really what aerial videos are all about, is setting the scene, So I think this is just my opinion. Take it or toss it. And again, I'm totally wrong on a lot of things, but I kind of think it's kind of like a lot of enthusiasts and a lot of these people now, and then they're not flying just the little DJI drones that I fly. The little the consumer ones. They fly these huge. I've seen them. They're as big as a car. Maybe bigger, a little bit smaller, I don't know, and they're very hugely sophisticated things. And so they're, playing, I think, a little bit of a gotcha. It's like, let's get these people going. Let's rile them up. And, I just think that, because, look at some of I guess there's some of these, in lieu of fireworks in some places, they have drone shows. And one or two people control maybe hundreds of drones synchronistically. They're all in syncopated, and they're all together. They're all orchestrated, and they're all doing their thing, and they make different shapes in the sky. It's all computer driven, and so you can have these swarms of drones flying all over the place. And you can make them do just about anything, really, and make creative shapes and pictures of people, at least kind of semi-portrait type things. So, again, and they can do some really spectacular things as you program them to do their little choreography things in the sky. So I have a feeling that 90% of this is just enthusiasts that are very sophisticated enthusiasts. Again, I'm not talking about old Father Francis out there with his, little DJI, Mini 4, Pro out there, flying around and, buzzing people. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who really are sophisticated. They're really, they're into the FPV drones, and they know how to manipulate swarms of drones, and they know how to, just make them do all sorts of things. So I just think that a lot of this is somebody or a group of people, or just people that just have the know-how and the knowledge to just kind of like they're doing an Orson Welles. It's kind of like an updated, Orson Welles kind of War of the Worlds thing, just to make people nervous and, kind of give them the heebie-jeebies. So that's what I think about the drones, and maybe it's more than that. Maybe there is something more sinister and diabolical, and maybe there really is a true conspiratory, you know what I'm trying. You know the thing. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, maybe Dark Brandon has something to do with it. I don't know, but kind of thinking about that. Anyway, so there you go. I just wanted to get on there and kind of talk about the mysterious drones and the skies of New York and New Jersey and Ohio, and I guess all over the place now. I think they're out here in the West and all sorts of things. So I think people are just having a little bit of fun with the drones. Okay. So the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about, I printed out what I wanted to talk about because I always kind of get sidetracked and I kind of think, okay, now what? Okay, so the drones. Okay, well, the next thing I was going to talk about is that young woman. I think her name is Lindsay or Lydia Phillips or Lily Phillips or something like that, a young British gal, 23 years old. And I don't know what to make of that either, Here is a young woman who, and I'm not going to, a lot of people say, oh, she slept with 100 guys in 24. No, she didn't sleep with anybody. Maybe she did technically sleep with them. I mean, truly sleep with them. She probably wouldn't be doing these crazy things, but it's a stunt. It's sort of like a hot dog eating contest, but it's at the lower region contest of hot dogs, if you get my meaning there. Kind of maybe a little crass there to say it like that, but kind of the same kind of principle, I guess, I guess the really grotesque, the distasteful way of saying she's getting run through or run over by all these guys. She's not sleeping with anybody, so don't use that. That's the wrong word. Let's be a little more accurate. So she's getting run through, and then she has the epiphany that, well, it's not like normal sex. What was your first clue? Yeah. Again, it kind of boggles the mind how people are just so broken. Perversion is just everywhere, It's just people, some people haven't met a perversion they haven't liked, like Jeffrey Epstein and all these other creeps and bums. And it's sad. I mean, again, it's to be, it's like, well, it's like a moral outrage for a lot of people that are just kind of trying to figure out why with this young woman. And she's not a bad-looking girl at all. She's really rather attractive. But now she's, physically, she probably looks like she's no worse for the wear. Of course, I would tend to probably differ and say that, no, that something like that's going to really physically just wreck you as well. But her soul, her spirit, her psyche, her emotional self, I mean, oh my gosh. Like I said, it boggles the mind, and, it's just, what would possess someone? I mean, let's finish the question. What would possess someone to do something like that? Internet fame, social media, recognition. I can't imagine. Oh, and I know what the other thing is, and I'll get to that in just a minute. So dear Lily Phillips and her antics, her sexual escapades, if you will. And apparently there was a documentary. Now, again, I don't think they showed it. It wasn't like a XXX movie, but it was kind of like literally like a behind the scenes. That could be taken in a couple of ways. But sorry, forgive me for being a little double entendre there. Didn't mean it to be that way. But there I go again. I'm sorry. The thing is that I think that in the documentary, she's on one hand she's all emotionally now kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I don't know what I did here, and she's even saying that she was kind of disassociating at the moment of the incident, and she kind of had just kind of like compartmentalized herself and just kind of one of those I'm out of the body experience. I'm going to watch I'm going to I'm not going to be physically. I'm going to be physically present in this moment, but I'm not going to be emotionally or psychologically or maybe even mentally participating in this. I'm just going to basically leave my body and just let the guys do what they need to do, and then voila, I'm back, but then she says she had this, understanding that it's not like real, intimate relations. Well, really? And then after her breakdown, apparently, or her, kind of letting the truth slap her in the face, she then she kind of like regroups and gets a hold of herself, I guess, and doubles down and I'm going to do 1,000 guys in 24 hours. Like what? I can't imagine there not being any kind of serious physical disease-related consequences of such acts. I'm sure that there's going to be something that's going to be, wow. There's going to be a price to pay. She's already paid. It reminds me, I was watching a documentary, one of my favorite documentaries actually, has nothing to do with Lily Phillips, has nothing to do with OnlyFans or the corn industry. I guess that's how you're supposed to say it politely now so you don't get censored. I was watching a movie, documentary, again, another documentary, about the Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps. I'm showing off my Christmas present here. You probably don't notice this, but I've had this thing called Dupuytren's contracture, and my finger was like this. I couldn't straighten it out. So last Tuesday, I started this procedure which frees up the cord in your hand so you can straighten it out again. And now I've got a straight hand there. I love it. So it's my little Christmas present to myself there. Hurt like heck, let me tell you. I was told the procedure, it just hurts, it's not excruciating, but it just hurts like heck, It feels like the first, when they inject your hand with this chemical to break the cord so they can finally snap it several days later, it feels like really bad bee stings, and it hurts. And after that goes in, it just throbs and it hurts for like 2 days, and then they numb up your hand one more time, and then they break the cord, and then your finger can get straight again. So, yeah. So, but anyway, talking about the Marine Corps, and the documentary guy, one of the guys in the documentary said, he was talking about, people that, have to go into combat, and regrettably, some of them do have to kill other human beings. And this one guy said something that really haunted me, and I think it's so true. He says he believes that killing diminishes the soul, and it's irreversible, it's permanent. And I have to think that what Lily Phillips is doing truly diminishes her soul. That doesn't mean she can't be healed later in life if she chooses to repent and try to get God's healing. God can heal. I believe that. I know that. Not don't believe it. I know it. But I think doing things like that, body counts and one-night stands and all types of sexual perversions, it diminishes our souls to the extent that we participate in those things. And we need healing. Now, again, God can heal us. He can truly heal us. But if we're walking around with this trauma, because it's a trauma. Basically what this woman really did was open herself up to gang. I can't say it, but I think you know the word. It starts with an R, ends with an E, okay? And I think that's a traumatic thing that diminishes, and to choose to do that, to voluntarily participate in that, it diminishes the soul. I just believe that. I know that, So got to pray for this young lady, and maybe, she'll turn and, literally, and repent and beg for mercy and healing. And of course, God will be there to heal, providing she really, truly wants that healing and forgiveness. But, hey. And talking about, again, another outlandish, horrific. I'm doing this all from no notes. I'm kind of proud of myself, I know that I kind of do a lot of Biden impersonations without knowing it. It's like, where am I at? Who are you? Where am I? What am I doing here? Okay. Little dark Brandon there. Sometimes little dark Brandon. Yeah. Moments. But anyway, this guy, Mangione, or the young guy who he assassinated that healthcare CEO in broad daylight. I mean, and if that wasn't bad enough, I'm going to sneeze here in a minute, I think. Oh. If that wasn't bad enough, we have the woke people on the woke side of life cheering him on. He's got women fan club people, ladies that want, just like Ted Bundy did. Really, it's unbelievable. And they're saying, well, all these healthcare people, they get what they got. They deserve what they got. That guy deserved it. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of the medical complex, the industrial medical industrial complex. It's just as bad as the military industrial complex, to be sure. But there are times that we need the specialized care of physicians and nurses and, specialists, and they can, most of the time, treat us and maybe restore some things that heretofore maybe they couldn't have done, say, 20, 30 years ago, and I'm grateful for that. I'm not grateful for the insurance companies that drive a lot of the decisions, and sometimes, like, for example, the unspecified virus of unknown origin, when we were going through that debacle. Unfortunately, I know several close friends who did decide, and I think they were coerced into getting the experimental pharmaceutical. And unfortunately, every single one of them has come down with some rare turbo cancer. And it's very heartbreaking. And I think if they had not been coerced, again, if a person chooses, just like, okay, let's go back to Lily Phillips. Okay, now, she has a diminished, I think, reason, because she's still a young person, even though she's 23. If she was maybe even a few years older, she would have realized this is not a good thing to do. Santa doesn't believe that's a good thing to do, okay? Go help your mom wash the dishes. Now, that's a good thing to do, okay? But not letting yourself be railed against by a group of horny men, okay? So, but she chose to do that. But sometimes, we can't, we don't, no one held a gun to her head and said, you will do this. At least as far as we know, that's not what happened. She did this of her own free will. But coercing people to get experimental medicines and procedures, and when they're not sure, and if they had the freedom without being coerced by family, friends, and maybe higher institutions, like your job saying you get this or you're fired or we're laying you off, which happened to so many people. So that's wrong. I think that's wrong. And then the other time is when sometimes an insurance company won't pay for a procedure. Now, I don't know how rare, I don't know how frequent that is. It may be really frequent, and there may be people who, and it's not just, they say no to the procedure. Maybe I hate to say it, but it's a bureaucracy, big, huge bureaucracy. And, and so you file for, this procedure, and maybe it takes weeks, maybe months before it gets approved because it sits on somebody's desk. Because don't you know, they're going off to, they're going to Cancun for, a month. Oh, well, and they got this big stack of things to be approved, and it doesn't get approved until they get back from their vacation. Just sits there. It happens all the time. So that's incompetence. That's negligence. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, but you don't go around killing people for that. And then to see people supporting this and cheering it on and celebrating it, that's real ghoulish, let me tell you. That's wrong. That's evil. That is evil. Sorry. Anyway, this young guy, and he's apparently a very intelligent young man. He had probably had a bright future ahead of him. He hurt his back, maybe doing extreme sports or showing off, or again, maybe it wasn't his fault. Maybe he just slipped on the wrong thing at the wrong time and hurt his back. Okay, as a fellow back sufferer, I know it's terrible. It's worse. One of the worst things that you can endure is lower back pain. It's miserable. It hurts. You're in chronic pain all the time. It is a kind of a traumatic thing that caused it. And now you're in this lingering pain, and it's just terrible. It's horrible, and you want relief. But the good thing is that I think a lot of it can be healed naturally, but that's a video for another time. But anyway, so that's a horrible, horrible thing that happened there, getting that poor man being shot, okay? And I mean, we don't even know if he was just the CEO. Sometimes the CEO was, it's not like they personally are going to go, well, there's Mr. John Smith, and I'm going to deny him his cancer treatment because I don't like him today. It has nothing to do with that. He's probably just a guy who is kind of the figurehead. He probably doesn't have a whole lot of input into the daily decisions that are made that affect actual individuals. Maybe policies. He's probably involved in futurized policies. How we can streamline the process. Maybe make it better. Who knows? But as far as him being some evil corporate goon that was denying people health care access, I don't think that's the case. He was just a guy who was literally just the guy he was literally just going to his job, and somebody decided that he needed to die. And if our society is getting that bloodthirsty, that blatantly bloodthirsty, we're in trouble. That's why a lot of us are we're still celebrating. Yes, we are, because I think deep down inside, I think a lot of us feel that maybe we're going to make a turn back to true law and order. Okay, you don't get to do the 5-finger discount at Walmart and walk out with $100 worth of stuff and no one's going to arrest you. No, you're going to get prosecuted. You're going to jail. Okay, you're not going to be able to go and smash and grab expensive stores because somehow you deserve it because it's reparations for all of the years you were a slave. Okay, all right. So anyway, I gotta calm down. I gotta calm down. Delicious. So anyway, so that's the other thing, and then the final thing is more of it is the Christmas season, or it's soon to be the Christmas season. And Santa here. Merry Hanukkah. Northwoods. Yeah, that's what Santa smokes, I'm sure. One of my recent Santa type holiday movies is the Mel Gibson one, The Fat Man. That, talk about a bizarre Christmas movie. There's a lot of bizarre Christmas movies. You know, I still love It's a Wonderful Life and the original Santa Claus. I still love the Grinch, the cartoon Grinch, the Charlie Brown Christmas. I love all those wonderful, wholesome, you know, back to the 1960s. Most of them were done in the 1960s when I was a little boy. And reminds me when my brother would come home from college and he'd, you know, after he kind of got settled in and after he had his dinner that my mom would make. My mom was a wonderful cook. And then he'd sit down and he and my mom and all of us would just kind of visit and he'd pull out his pipe. And then things got magical. Oh man, I just love that pipe. I love the smell, the aroma. I loved, you know, the opening up the tobacco pouch, you know, and smelling the tobacco, those tender little, delicious little, you know, ribbons of tobacco, and then watching him load his pipe and then light it up and sit back and just, you know, reminisce and talk about Christmases past and all those magical things. I mean, my brother, when he came home, it was like all this magic dust, you know, was all over the place, you know, and just throwing it everywhere, you know. It was great. And that's why I was always intrigued by pipe smokers, you know, and every now and then when I would be outside and I'd get the wafting of a pipe burning, it was like, oh, wow, where's that coming from, you know, that type of thing. And maybe some of you can relate, I don't know. That's why I'm a pipe smoker, I guess. But anyway, Christmas is so interesting. I'm just literally unraveling so much about Christmas, kind of exploring and hearing new different things. For example, when I found out that I had this Dupuytren's contracture, several doctors say, if you've ever wondered what your ancestry is, if you've got this, guess what? You're Scandinavian. And I've always associated myself with being, you know, from Scotland, for sure. From Scotland, lads and lassies. And up in here in the Highlands of Lake Tahoe, right now. We're going to do some cable tossing on Hogmanay. So get your dancing shoes on and you get your haggis out and your single malt scotch. Great. But anyway, so I've been curious about, you know, Christmas in places like, you know, Norway and Sweden. There's a young woman named Jonah Jilton or whatever. Anyway, she's from Sweden and she makes these absolutely beautiful cinematic videos, and they're just so heartwarming and beautiful. You know, so again, knowing that, you know, here's a people that live in a northern climate, and I live in this snowy northern climate, and we're getting more snow and more snow. You're getting snow before Christmas and getting a big, huge snowstorm, I guess, after Christmas. Oh boy. Anyway, I still love it, but it's there's the reality of having to live and work and manage snow, you know. So anyway, most of you guys know that, okay? So, but anyway, so I've been kind of intrigued by Christmas, you know, in those more Norwegian, Scandinavian, Swedish, Danish, you know, countries. Iceland to be included in that as well. But obviously, most of you are saying, wait a minute though, they're all pagans, they're neo-pagans, they're born-again pagans, and that's true. That is true. Their celebration of Yule is completely separate from the celebration of true Christmas or Christ Mass. Now, that being said, it is interesting that I found this one historian. She's a young woman, but she's a historian, I guess in Scandinavian studies. And but there were, and still are, I'm sure to this day, maybe not, obviously in a lot of places in Europe, Christianity is on a decline, sad to say. Maybe there may be a resurgence coming, praise God, please God it is. But it was interesting because Christianity. I thought I heard something. I don't see any bears out there. Well, maybe it's this. Maybe it's this thing here. It's heard some bumping around. I guess it's that. That's probably what it is. But anyway, so in I guess in the northern regions there, Scandinavia, Christianity kind of made its appearance around the 900s, and kind of took root. I thought I saw something out there. Okay. It took root around like around 10, 11, and made a foothold in Sweden, Scandinavia. I mean, in Switzerland, Norway, and but yes, it is though the Scandinavian people, or the Vikings, of course, the Vikings, and the Vikings didn't treat the Christians very well when they met them. Okay, let's just say that if you were a Christian and you met a Viking, it probably was going to be the last thing that you saw was this rampaging Viking. But apparently, though, and this one young lady who I really thought had a really great insight into Christianity and Scandinavia, and some really good insights, was that what happened was. Now, in a lot of European countries, when the emperor or the king or the whoever became a Christian, then they would force the population to convert or die, basically. Or at least they made their lives miserable, I guess, if they didn't convert. And but in Sweden especially, and I was thinking it would maybe hold true in Norway and maybe Denmark and other places like that, that they kind of made it optional, like, okay, and it turned out that Christianity kind of became the de jure religion. It was kind of like the fashionable thing to do. It's kind of like maybe like wokeism is now. It's kind of fashionable, and so a lot of people chose to experiment with Christianity, and some, it took, and some said, forget it, I'm going back to my pagan ways. But the bottom line was that there was this commingling of traditions from both the Nordic and the Christian. And so it is interesting. It is not so much that the Christians stole the pagan celebrations and Christianized them, but I think what's really the common denominator is the winter months, especially up in the northern regions where there's, the polar night, it's 5-6 months of pretty much darkness. I don't know how. Maybe there's another lady I watch her. She's from Slavard. I can't pronounce that correctly. Maybe if I'm pronouncing it wrong, forgive me. But it's like the most northern region up beyond Norway and Scandinavia. It's out there, like really close to the North Pole, literally. And there's not a whole lot going on there. They have that International Seed Vault up there, which I thought was interesting. You've seen that, I think, in a couple of James Bond films as some nefarious, evil place, that the bad guy lives in. Kind of looks that way. But but anyway, so when Christianity arrived on the shores, they're trying to deal with interpreting the common denominator, which is the cold and the night, the never-ending night of winter, and so some of the traditions that grew up around certainly the pagans and the Christians are very similar, and that is that how they interpret the return of the light. I think that's what I kind of sense is that the traditions, the rituals, if you will, they get kind of commingled, and the Christians interpret them one way, and then the Norse, the pagan Norse people have their own way of interpreting winter and darkness and the return of the light. So it's a very interesting thing. It's like, wow, it's interesting. And so this young lady who, interesting enough, just had a baby, she said. So, talking about new life and everything. So she was really kind of focusing on that aspect of the new life and how Christians interpret that and how the pagans interpret that. And then she even went on to say, well, there's even new rituals and ceremonies that are now being introduced. When, I don't know if it's like Festus, Festivus, that type of a thing. It's like I know some people actually believe that's a real thing, and maybe they make it. Maybe that becomes a real. I mean, when I say a real holiday, I mean maybe they just it becomes something. It's kind of made up, but then people kind of identify with. It's not religious. It's just whatever it is. You can make it whatever. I guess it's kind of like, kind of like a Mr. Potato Head kind of thing. You can make it whatever you want it to be, I guess, And so, but anyway, it was just an interesting thing. And she said that the bottom line is the reason why, I don't know if this holds true today, because there's a lot of hatred right now, sad to say, against Christians and the Catholics and people of faith. And unfortunately, I think that's sad because, but she said that for the most part, up until recently, that people didn't really. There wasn't a lot of acrimony between the pagans, which you would think there. I mean, originally there was, of course. The Vikings killed the Christians; they had no use for them. But eventually, when Christianity began to take root in the northern regions there, Scandinavia, they kind of like, well, this is interesting. Let's see where it goes, And there was no intent for the emperor, the king, or whoever was the, overseeing the government or whatever, to force, mass conversions. There was no compulsory, people could choose. If you wanted to become a Christian, that's good on you. And if you were a Christian, fine. I'm going to be a pagan, and and there wasn't this rivalry, really, this animosity and sadly we see here in our country today between say just people on the left and people on the right, people who are religious, people who are anti-religious. It's just like, hey, so it's sad. It's really sad. But again, the sad thing was that maybe the downside of letting people kind of choose. I don't know if this is really a downside, but she said that the problem was that a lot of people, their convictions in Christianity were very shallow to begin with, and maybe they converted for the wrong reasons. Maybe they did it because they thought it was maybe a way to be advancing socially. And when it didn't turn out that way, they just kind of abandoned it, because they didn't have the faith really. But basically, there was no compulsion to convert. So she said that that's why there was never this real bitterness between, say, the practicing Nordic traditions and the Christian traditions. So I hope that's still. I hope that's still the case, because I think that would be sad if, again, we see, people just wanting to go to war, almost kind of like let's bring back, the real Vikings and kill all the Christians kind of thing. That would not be a good thing. No, I don't think so. But I am intrigued to know if there are people who consider themselves true, say, Scandinavian type people, but are also faithful Christians, and I believe that there are. I'm sure there are. This lady, brought the point up that there are. But I do know that in Europe, all over Europe, Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, again Scandinavia, the even Italy, people, their religion is more of a kind of something that maybe identifies you culturally. But most people, with a few exceptions, and the exceptions are still, they're still a good remnant. But most people kind of just, it's more of a cultural thing than a faith thing. And I think that's where a lot of people in the northern regions of Norway and Sweden and Denmark, they sense that they have a tradition, they have a Christian tradition, but it's, maybe in some ways it's like like Japan. They have the Shinto thing, but it's not a real religion in that fact that they have a relationship with God. It's just a cultural thing that they observe for the most part. So I think that's sad to say, but that's kind of what happens in these Northern European countries. So anyway, there you have it. So I want to say thanks for tuning in. I don't know if I'd call this my Christmas special. Maybe a little bit, a little teeny bit. I don't want to, jump the gun here. Don't want to jump the shark. It's not quite Christmas yet, so it's still Advent. We're creeping up on the fourth Sunday of Advent, and then 2 days later, it's going to be Christmas Eve, and Bob's your uncle. So there you go. Okay, well, thanks so much for taking time out to watch the old Padre ramble on, and share with me what you think some of the topics I talked about tonight. Share your comments and your thoughts, your opinions, what you think's going on with the drones and poor Lily and the Mangione, I think his name is. I forgot his first name. Doesn't really matter. But anyway, hopefully, in Christmas, what kind of heritage and traditions that you observe and celebrate. I mean, I didn't even get into the real personal part of Christmas. I mean, there's just so much. Like I said, Christmas is sort of like, maybe some of you may recall those World Book encyclopedias, and they had the anatomy section, and they had all these little cellophane overlays, and you'd have like the skeleton, and then you'd have the musculature, and then you'd have the nervous system, and then you'd have the organs, and and it's like 4, 5, 7, I don't know, maybe there's more than that, overlays, and then you would assemble in this pictorial way this human body, and so anyway, I think that's the way it is with Christmas. There's just so many things that we identify as being part of Christmas, but the real Christmas message. And I gotta say, the only, probably with the exception of maybe an actual Christmas movie about Jesus, and the nativity and the birth of Jesus, was the little Charlie Brown Christmas. Charlie Brown's kind of like me, and can somebody tell me what Christmas is all about? And Linus says, sure, I'll tell you what it's all about. And he reads that little portion from Luke's gospel, and it's quiet, and everybody is listening. And it was all about the birth of the Savior. And his name is Jesus. Well, God bless you tonight. And as I like to say in most of my videos, if not all, light up your world. And light up your pipe. And happy Advent. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.
Yes, I'm coming home to you. Oh, how much I missed you. Wanna spend this day with you. Yes, I'm coming home to you. Ooh. I can't wait to hold you. We'll be sitting by the fire and watch our favorite movies on TV. We can do what we want to do. Walk under the moonlight and kiss under the stars. It's gonna be like we never were apart. Yes, I'm on my way. This time I'm here to stay. I'm coming home for Christmas. Yes, I'm coming home to you. Oh, how much I missed you. Wanna spend this day with you. Yes, I'm coming home to you.
Okay, I guess it's time to go back inside.
Ooh. Yes, I'm coming home to